You ready? Jim's just got home from work, but it's Tuesday.
A real No, it's not.
I almost convinced him. Today is No Tag Tuesday, May 3rd, but it's really Monday night. Jim just got home from work. And Jimmy's still
Working on the house.
working on the house. Sooner or later, we'll get him on here. We really will. Maybe we'll even get Jim to stay. People want you to stay even when Jimmy comes
I'm
back.
sure they do.
They do. They really do. I don't know why, but they do. But anyway, this week I came up with the questions.
You came up with the questions.
So everybody that normally does it will be listed in the description box below. There's a couple people that might not be able to do it this week. Also, I think Weight Watchers with Carrie is joining us, so check out her channel also. And next week, the questions will come from Tracy over at Trials of a Long-Haired Girl. But this week, it's all on me. You ready?
Can't hardly wait.
Number 1, which family member is the best cook?
Which family member is the
best cook?
Is the best cook? Well, herein lies the problem. You are the best cook in the family. Yes, if we're talking like dinners and whatnot, okay. But if you're talking desserts, then it would have to be my sister Birdie or my daughter Christy June when it comes to desserts.
Yeah, they're quite the bakers. I do think I make a good birthday cake. I make a good birthday. I'm remembering the next week when he gets his slice of cake, not chunk of cake.
Anybody can make a cake out of the box.
Not really. Not really. I think I'm a pretty good cook because I can time everything perfectly. Everything gets to the... It's all hot.
You do.
Everything is hot.
You do.
I don't make... What can I cook?
Biscuits.
Biscuits. I can't do those to save my soul. There's a glare there. I can't make those to yeah, it's just really bad. But I would say that I think, not to brag, but I think I am the best cook.
Right, but not the best baker.
Not the best baker. I'll agree with that, but I am the best cook. But then who's the worst cook, but they try?
Who's the worst cook, but they try? Who's the worst cook, but they try?
Well, for me, that would have been my sister Sue.
Oh, yeah.
She tried. She really tried.
She definitely wasn't a baker.
No. The one time she made an apple pie. Well, you weren't there.
Yeah, I was. No, you told me about it.
I told you about it, yeah. Because she had my sister Mary and Denise and myself.
She just got 2 ingredients mixed up.
Yeah. And she made this terrible, terrible, terrible dinner. She made chicken that the blood was still dripping off of it because she didn't cook it long enough. And then the potatoes were all lumpy and hard. The vegetables, I like a good raw vegetable, but it needed to be cooked a little bit longer. And so she was going to reprieve herself by this great dessert that she made, which was an apple pie. But instead of using a 1/4 cup of sugar, she used a 1/4 cup of salt. So it was bad. The whole meal was bad. So till the day she died, we teased her. Would you like some apple pie? We never brought up about the chicken. But the pie, that was a major faux pas. But, yeah, I would say that Susie would win that honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's not in your family, per se.
No. Well, all the women, as far as I don't know about Barb, to be honest with you. But it seems like, I'm not trying to say one thing or not, but all the women in my family, I think, are good cooks.
I don't know about your Aunt Caroline.
Well,
We never ate any of her food.
no, but like Bertie's an excellent cook.
Barb wasn't too bad.
I really don't remember.
Remember we used to go there for Christmases and that.
Yeah.
To help us. Okay, number 2. What is your favorite story about your grandparents?
My favorite story about my grandparents. Well, I guess it would be my my grandfather on my dad's side. Me and my grandfather used to fish walleyes in the St. Clair River, and we brought.
He was deaf.
My grandfather, yeah.
He had a hearing aid, but he never had it on.
Right, or turned up enough or whatever. But we took my my son Danny with us fishing, and my grandfather just had a 10-foot aluminum fishing boat, something real small. And so we stuck my son Danny in a lawn chair over the little seat that's in the bow of the boat, and we had our backs to the current and we're sideways in the river, and we're just floating down the river, just fishing. And all of a sudden we hear this horn, and we turn around, and we didn't notice that we had drifted in the middle of the shipping lane, and this steamer is getting ready to run us over. And my son Danny, he was probably about 11 or 12 at the time, and he's going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And my grandfather, he can't get the motor started. He's only got like a little 5 or 10 horse Evinrude, and he's trying to get it started. Finally, he gets it started, and we were literally, when he got the motor started and we got out of the shipping lane, when that
the wake.
When that's I keep on saying steamer, but
It was a freighter.
Freighter went by us. We were probably about 15 foot off the side of the boat when he went by. And if you're within 15 foot of a freighter going past you, it's like, whoa.
Danny never got in the boat again.
Danny never went fishing with me again.
That was one and done for Danny. That was it. I don't know. I didn't really know my grandparents. Like I've always said, that by the time on my mother's side, by the time I came along, she had like 75, 80 grandchildren. So it was like old news. And so my only memory of my grandmother is when we would go over to the house, we'd have to sit on the front porch, on the steps outside, and she would say hi, but that was about it. that was
Woo!
about
Grandma said hi to me.
it.
Sucker!
And if you were thirsty, she'd always tell you there was a hose on the side of the house. You could just drink out of the hose. But I have a few memories of when I went to Boston. My grandmother was very loving. My grandmother in Boston was very loving. I can't even think of any bad stories about her. My grandfather was very loving too. But I remember he always used to bring me, we used to go on the T and we'd go to Boston Commons and feed the pigeons. I remember that. But I have a faint memory of one time that he wanted to, my grandfather was a drinker, which Irish.
Whole family.
What can you say? But I have this distinct memory the one time when he was going to offer us all a quarter if we could find his bottle, because I guess my grandmother used to hide him. And he lived in Boston in a 3-flat home, and the families lived on all 3 floors. So it was a search, and I remember searching with my cousin Donna, and I were looking for bottles. I don't know if we ever found it, but that's my memory. What a great memory!
Yeah.
Of my grandfather. But,
yeah. Find my booze. I'll give you so many.
Yeah, there you go. Number 3. What was it like growing up being either the youngest, the oldest, the middle, or an only child? You were like the second.
I was the second of
4.
I was always accused.
He was the favorite.
Always accused
He
of
was
being
the favorite.
the favorite.
Yes. You can ask either Barb or Bertie to this day, and they will tell you that Jim was the favorite. And Tom, if he was still alive, would say.
Well, yeah, because
He was the
they
favorite.
think it.
No, it
No,
was.
because I had a knack of,
Sucking up.
I don't call it sucking
Sucking
up, but agreeing rather than having conflict.
Sucking up. Sucking up. He'd be grounded every weekend for
Well,
for
yeah,
a month.
I was, when I was a teenager, I'd go, that's when we used to actually do, everybody talks about cruising and whatnot. And, but that's the time frame that I was a teenager. And I was about 15 at the time. But my buddy Tom across the street, he was a year or two older than me. I think he was 2 years older.
I think he was Tom's age. Actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so he actually would have been 3 years older. But he had a 64 Chevelle, and we would go cruising up and down. If you're from Michigan, we'd be cruising around Gratiot and Woodward and that. And I was only 15 at the time, and I was supposed to be home by 11, and I'd come strolling in at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't supposed to be smoking either.
Or drinking.
Or drinking. So I would get grounded for 2 weeks every week.
Yeah. One weekend he came home so drunk, his parents, all they did was take pictures of him sick in
My
the
dad
bathroom.
took Polaroid pictures.
Jim still has them. He shared them with his kids.
Yeah.
Why not? I was the oldest, and what came with that was being the most responsible for everything. And even to this day, it's like they call me to find out what we're going to do. It's
Don't
just,
call her to order their pizza.
No, it's not that bad. It's not
They used to.
Well, when we had family dinners and everybody had their own pizzas, yeah.
No, even I remember people. Denise, can you call and order me a pizza?
I have no memory of this.
Yeah, it happened.
It didn't happen. No. But they would call me like, oh, so-and-so died. Are you going to collect the money for the funeral? Or, are you going to collect the money for the flowers? Or should we do a mass? Or should we do this? Or, and I always remember that when I was growing up, you got spanked. We didn't get beat, but we got spanked.
I got hit with a crutch.
By his mother, yes. You didn't get hit with a crutch. You got beat with a crutch. He did get beat with a crutch.
Yeah, and then you're going to say I'm the favorite? You don't beat the favorite with a crutch.
No, that was a whole nother deal. But I'll have to share that. I'll share that story on my daily vlog today. So check out my daily vlog.
Because you were
today.
involved.
I was involved. I was one of the major contributors to that. So
Yes.
watch my daily vlog today, and I will have the story for you. But anyway, I just
Zoom, zoom.
it is a funny story. I have told it before, but it's been a long time since a lot of times I retell stories, but it's been a long time since I retold that story. But anyway, like I said, that my mother would go out very rarely to bingo, and my father would tell me that I was in charge of taking care of the kids. And then if the kids acted up, I was the one that got the blame because I was the oldest and I should have kept them in line. So, number 4, what TV family reminds you of your family? Of your family, not my family, your family.
My family, probably the real McCoys.
That's so true. Yes, I would say so. Everybody, see, I have an older demographic audience. They'll know who the real McCoys were. And if you have MeTV, I don't know, is it even on MeTV?
It's on one of the channels that we have.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was watching it just the other day.
Oh, that's what I remember. My family would be the Brady Bunch. I think we're like the Brady Bunch. Number 5, what personality traits do you share with your family?
What personality traits? I don't know if it's a personality trait or anything, but you don't, in our family, you don't want to have anybody find out something that you did because we're going to rag on it till the day you die.
That's my family too. That's just what we do. I would say with your family though, which is different than my family, is Jim's family is very organized.
Yes.
Very organized, almost
Yes.
anally organized.
Yes. I would agree with that.
My family is,
Yeah, that was from my mother.
yes. So it was kind of hard at first when we first got married because Jim and I had to kind of balance each other out. I keep a very neat house
Yes.
and it's clean. It's very neat, but it's not organized. I'll admit that it's not organized, but I know where stuff is.
Yeah, my mother would like literally vacuum every room every day,
Yeah, your mother was really
you know.
anal.
And the beds had to be made
Perfect.
right when you got up. And they
Yeah,
had to be made perfect.
yeah, not like I make a bed.
No, not like we make a bed.
No. Ours is just like when you get up in the morning, we make our bed every day.
Yeah,
And the rule is the last one out of the bed has to make the bed.
right. So that's why I pop out as quick as I can.
He gets out way before me. But I go to bed way later than you, so I sleep a
True.
little bit longer. But we just kind of throw the covers. It's really nicely made once a week.
Yeah, we just pulled a sheet and a blanket up, and
Tuck it
then we pulled the, what do they call that thing?
Comforter.
And then she's got to have like 37,000 pillows on the
There's
bed.
not 37,000 pillows. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 pillows.
Seems more than that.
2, 4, 10.
Well, we're getting up near there.
10 pillows. But okay. And like I said, my family is, my whole family, we're not very organized. We're just, that's our personality traits. And like we'll just attack you in a loving way. We'll make sure you're fine.
Oh yeah,
We always make sure you're fine. But then once we know you're fine, you're free game.
Right.
You're fair game.
yeah. My son Jimmy, he opened up a pair of
Jeans.
jeans
Yeah.
for Christmas one year, and I can't remember if it was Cindy
It was
or
Cindy, yeah.
and that's when he was still married. And he opened up these jeans and he looked at them, and he showed her, and he says, "Are these the kind I wear?
No, these are the kind I like.
Are these the kind I like?" And to this day, we're still ragging on them. And that was what, 15 years
Oh, that
ago
was
or
a
more?
long time ago. Yeah, way longer than that. Number 6, how did your parents or your grandparents meet?
Well, my grandparents.
Either one, your parents or your grandparents.
Oh.
Some people might know how their grandparents met. There might be like a story behind it.
No, I don't know where my grandparents met. I know they met in Malta because they're on my mother's side, because they came from Malta through Ellis Island. But
How did your mom and dad meet?
I used to know that story. Bertie would probably remember.
But it does us no good.
No.
She's not here.
I think it was through a mutual friend of theirs.
Yeah, because your dad was
Yeah.
way younger than your mother.
Yeah, well, I don't know about way younger.
She was almost 21 and he was 18. That's way younger at that age.
Well, that's 3 years.
But yeah,
might as
3
well
years.
might as well be 247.
3 years then and 3 years now are different. My parents met. My father was in the Navy with my Uncle Warren, and that he was stationed in Florida during the war. They were just getting ready to ship out, and he was single. And my Uncle
Let's
Warren,
hope so.
yeah, my Uncle Warren was married to my Aunt Agnes, and so my Aunt Agnes had called my mother down to come stay with her while they were off, wherever they were going, because she didn't want to stay alone. And so then my Uncle Warren brought my dad home for dinner, and then my mom and my dad met, and they wrote letters while they were in the service, while he was in the
True
service.
love.
And then they ended up getting married on May 7th in 1946. So that's when they got married. But my father was one of the ships that was part of the D-Day landing. So, number 9. Which
That was on what day?
June 7th. June 6th. No, June 7th.
Keep on going. Guess one of them.
I'm trying to think because it was Danny's anniversary.
Yeah.
June 6th, 1945.
Yeah, Danny's wedding day.
Yes. Not in 1945, though.
No.
Number 9. Want to make sure we don't miss any. Oh, I did miss one already. See, I did miss one. Number 7. What is your favorite childhood memory with your family, whether it's a vacation, a holiday, a birthday, or a time with a relative?
Oh, we went to from Michigan. We drove to California. We went through the top part of the United States going, and we came back the lower half of the United States coming back. And we had, let's see, there's 4 and my parents is 6, plus my mom and dad's best friend, John. So there was 7 of us in a car
In a little
with no air conditioning in the middle of the summer.
Yes, driving through the South. Bertie left
Going through the desert during the day.
Yeah, Bertie left the crayons in the back window.
Well, that was a separate trip.
Oh, was that a separate trip?
That was a separate trip.
Yeah, Jim's family went on all kinds of vacations.
We went on vacations when I was a kid. We went on vacations every year, as far as I can remember. We'd go someplace. A lot of times down to Kentucky, Georgia.
Mine would just be every year we'd go to the cottage, and my mother and her sisters would rent like cottages in a row. And back then there was no birth control, so everybody had lots of kids. So my mother had 6, my Aunt Agnes had 10, my Aunt Shirley had 5, my Aunt Rose had 4, my Aunt Marge had 4, and we'd be in these little tiny little cottages and that. And then my Uncle Warren would bring us into town to this old bar, and he would make arrangements beforehand, because he was a drinker, and he would go there all the time and drink at night at the bar. And he had said he was going to bring his grandkids or his nieces and nephews in, and he brought us all to the bar, and we sat up to the bar, and he had paid for it in advance. And then he slapped his hand down and he said, "Bartender, beer for all my family." And then they come out with these little mugs with root beer in it, and we thought we were drinking real beer. And he was saying, "Oh, you're getting drunk. Oh, you're getting tipsy." And then he would you'd be convinced that you were getting a little tipsy because you were drinking beer at the bar. But that's one of my favorite memories. Number 8. Other than your significant other, which family member do you trust and confide in the most? Not me. Somebody else.
Not you. Who would I confide in? I don't know. Maybe Jimmy.
I thought you were going to say Christy, actually.
One of the two, really, with depends. With Christy, you gotta
read the room.
With her, you gotta, because she's like very emotional, so you gotta be careful what you say to her.
She's getting better. She is getting better. She really
right.
is. She is getting better.
Yeah, if I were to say, I think your mother's
Dying.
losing it or something, she would be a basket case.
No, I think she'd handle it pretty well. See, the dilemma now we're having is because we're going to be doing our will again, and we have to pick up somebody that's going to pull the plug on us.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be Christy.
Christy's insisting that she can do it.
But I want Jimmy because he's the oldest.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'll just say,
Yeah,
I don't
sure. Oh, you mean I wasn't supposed to pull it right now?
You're supposed to wait and make sure for the outcome. My person would be probably my sister Mary. I confide in my sister Mary a lot. I can confide in Christy, But that's like a mother-daughter thing type of thing. So, but if I had to really do a concern with somebody, it would be my sister Mary. Although I'm very close with Denise also.
I thought it would have been Mike.
No, Mike and I make family decisions together, but I wouldn't confide. No, that's different than like something that I'm going to confide in him for something.
Well, family matters is the most important thing.
It doesn't say family members. It says, what other significant other do you trust and confide in the most? It doesn't mean that I have to confide in a family matter.
Yeah, well, if you're going to confide in somebody, I would think family matter would be at the top.
No, because like if I could say, oh, Jim is really pissing me off, I'm not going to call Mike. I'd call Mary.
Yeah.
Number 9, which family member has the biggest impact on your life growing up?
I don't know that, like maybe my mother, I guess, because she liked me. No.
Which proves my point that you were
No,
the chosen one.
No, I would say my mother because I would watch my mother, and my mother was very intricate when she did things, and I picked up a lot of that from her.
His mother never drove anywhere, but if you ever were lost, you could call her, and she'd get out that map.
All you'd have to do is literally look at a street sign, give her some major roads.
She'd get out her map. And
No, she wouldn't even get out her map. No, my mother didn't look at maps. My mother knew in her head. And you could tell her what major roads you're by and tell her where you want to go. And she could tell you how to get there, And because one day I asked her, I says, how do you know how to get to all these places and you don't even drive? And she says, well, I'm not just sitting in a car, doing nothing. She says, I'm looking at street signs and everything, So she could literally tell you how to get to anywhere in the Metro Detroit area without looking at a map.
True. Mine would be my mother also. If I could be just like that much of my mom or like that much of her as a grandma, I think I'm doing pretty good because she was a good mom and grandma. She taught me a lot. She really did. Number 10, have you ever mapped out your family tree?
No, not really. My brother tried one time, and I don't know how far he got or whatever, but no, not really.
My Uncle Ed mapped out the Manning side of the family back to Ireland to 1852. That's as far as he got, and then he passed away. But now my mother's side, I have not a clue. So anyway, look how long that was, Jim. It's almost a half an hour. You babble on way longer than Jimmy does. And we got all the questions. We didn't miss a question. We almost did, but we didn't.
Well, you think you did anyways.
No, I didn't. Let me just check. We did the family member best cook, the favorite story, growing up being the youngest, what family personality, parents and grandparents meet, childhood memories, significant other. Yep, we got them all.
Okay, woo-woo.
So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment. Oh, I forgot to tell you that everybody that's doing the tag usually is in the description box down below. Also, Tracy, a Trials of a Long-Hair Girl, will be doing it next week. And so like, comment, subscribe, share.
And mimeograph.
And we will see you guys. You age yourself every time you say that. We will see you next week.
Let me know if anybody mimeographs.
I don't think anybody mimeographs anymore. And if you're old enough to remember mimeograph, what was the first thing you did when you got your mimeograph paper put on your desk?
You smelled it.
You went and smelled the paper.